It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to a breaking news edition of Travel and Cruise Industry News. And this is dealing with the CDC and an extension of the no-sail order on all cruise ships until the middle of July. Basically, folks, welcome. Well, if you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. This is not the kind of story that I like to be presenting, but if you're new, we regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, including the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, my interview shows called Chillie Chats, and travel and cruise industry news, which is normally held on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. We also go live when something breaks. This broke late last evening, and so I'm live with it first thing this morning. Basically, the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, announced the extension of no-sail order for all cruise ships. And this information came from CDC Director Robert Redfield. The measures that they took yesterday are to stop the spread of COVID-19 and necessary to protect Americans, and they will continue to provide critical public health guidance to the industry to limit the impacts of COVID-19 on its workforce throughout the remainder of this pandemic. Now, this is a rather lengthy statement issued by the CDC and the regulations themselves, but basically it boils down to several things that are of importance. Number one, there are three. The order shall continue in operation until the earliest of three situations. First, the expiration of the Secretary of Health and Human Services declaration that COVID-19 constitutes a public health emergency. Second, the CDC Director recommends or modifies the order based on specific public health or other considerations. And third, 100 days from the date of publication in the Federal Register. Now, I'm assuming that yesterday, since this was issued yesterday, that's the date in the Federal Register, which means the CDC has effectively shut down all cruise operations in the United States. Now, this is just in the United States waters, folks, or any place that the U.S. has jurisdiction over until July the 18th. Now, those of you that follow me regularly know that I began seeing signs earlier in the week that the cruise companies were going to extend their voluntary shutdown until July the 1st. The next day, that was confirmed by a upper level staff member of one of the major cruise lines that said that I was pretty close, but that they were considering reopening between the 20th of June and the 1st of July. And then last night, this came out, which virtually shuts down anything as far as U.S. cruises or cruises from any U.S. port or to a U.S. port is concerned until July the 18th. Since I was in contact with a major cruise line's upper level personnel just the day before, I think this action by the CDC might have taken the cruise lines even by surprise. Carnival had just begun talking about how they were planning on putting some cruises out on with short staff and short passengers just to get them back into the cruise business. So obviously that now is out the window. So basically, folks, if you have cruises scheduled from now until the middle of July, the CDC has shut them down totally for anything in U.S. waters. Now, what all does this affect? Currently, there's roughly 100 cruise ships that are remaining off the East Coast, West Coast, and the Gulf Coast, with nearly 80,000 crew members on board. In addition, there's some 20 cruise ships that are at port or anchorage within the United States. So we're not clear from this information that came out last night what the cruise companies and the cruise ships are going to do with their cruise members that are on board. Are they just going to leave these folks on the cruise ships for 90 days, 100 days rather? I don't know. So that part of the equation is yet to be seen. And then if the cruise ships decide to park these ships someplace, if they can find a place to park them, and disembark the crew members for a period of time until they can get back to cruising, that's fine. Furthermore, I do not know how this is going to affect in waters that the U.S. does not have jurisdiction over. The basic wording of the order says that this order ceases operation of cruise ships in waters in which the United States may exert jurisdiction and requires that they develop a comprehensive, detailed operational plan approved by the CDC, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, before they can get started again, even after the 100 days, they have to have a comprehensive plan that is approved, I assume, for every cruise ship, at least for every cruise company, and that these plans must help prevent, mitigate, and respond to the spread of COVID-19. So, we talked yesterday about the procedures Genting is starting with their ships in Asia. It's got to be at least similar to that, if not even more extensive. So basically, folks, the cruise industry, as I see it, is now shut down in the United States. Have no idea what that's going to mean to European cruises, Asian cruises, anywhere else but in U.S. waters. And apparently that's done until July the 18th. So let's pause for a word for Scoot Around. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. One of the things that was pointed out was that the ship should at least remove crew members that are not necessary to maintain seaworthiness, which would be like their hotel and hospitality staffs, because they basically can do nothing for 90 days. But it still does not say how the cruise lines are supposed to get these folks home when there's very little air travel and very little places that they can disembark crew members. I don't know. There's still some unanswered questions on this one, folks. But the main thing is, if you've got a cruise scheduled between now and July the 18th, I think probably this is going to take care of that. Not unexpected. I felt all along, even the July 1st date that I came up with earlier in this week, I wasn't sure that was going to be the end of it. I'm still not sure that this 100 days is going to be the end of it. We'll just have to wait and see. So That's it for now. This is Chillie, the Fat Travel Guy. Sorry about that kind of news this morning, folks. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning with our regular edition of Travel and Cruise Industry News.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.